Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at how smaller YouTube channels can still gain traction in 2025.
Oh, that's interesting.
We'll be drawing insights from Nick Nimmin,
Oh, cool.
a YouTuber who's been making a living from it and teaching other creators for over 8 years now.
Yeah, that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Someone who's actually in the trenches doing it and not just selling courses or something like that.
And what I think is really interesting about Nick is he makes most of his money through sponsorships and affiliate links.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that he is incentivized to tell you what actually works.
Yeah, he actually makes more money if you do well.
Exactly.
So
he wants you to succeed on YouTube.
he's not trying to sell you something and then, like, peace out.
Exactly.
That's always a good sign, I think.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's jump right into it. So first,
All right.
Nick emphasizes this idea of understanding the game that you're playing,
Yeah.
which is YouTube. And when you're trying to understand YouTube, it really boils down to the algorithm,
Yeah.
which we hear about all the time.
For sure.
What is this mythical algorithm and how can I crack it? And Nick says, it's actually not that mystical.
Yeah.
When you break it down, it's just engagement.
Right.
YouTube wants to show
Yeah.
videos to people who are going to watch it,
Exactly.
like it, comment on it,
Yeah, they're most likely to interact with it.
share it, right?
Mhm.
So how do we make sure that YouTube knows that our videos
Yeah.
are the ones to be showing to the right people?
Well, and this is especially true for new channels. So if you haven't been on YouTube for, 5+ years,
Right.
Nick says you really need to make sure that your descriptions are absolutely rock solid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because descriptions give YouTube context
Okay.
since you don't have, a channel history yet.
Okay.
So you're basically,
You're telling YouTube.
you're telling YouTube,
This is what this video is,
yeah, here's all the information you need.
and this is who should be watching it.
Yes.
Got it.
And that goes back to understanding the game.
Okay.
You're not just posting a video into the void.
Right.
There are millions of videos being uploaded
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
So it's a competition.
Right. So we got to understand that we're in a competition, right?
Yeah.
So we're in a competition.
Yeah.
How do we win this thing?
So his advice might sound a little counterintuitive at first, but he says start with your thumbnail and title before you even make the video.
Interesting. Most people would probably think,
Right.
oh, let me make the video first and then I'll worry about the title and thumbnail.
Exactly.
But he says do it first. Why is that?
Well, first of all,
Okay.
it validates your idea before you put in a ton of work.
Oh, okay.
So instead of
So you're not wasting your time.
you're not spending, 10 hours editing a video
Right.
and then
And then nobody clicks on it.
yeah. And nobody clicks on it because it's like,
Yeah.
a bad title or a bad thumbnail or something like that.
Okay, so you test it out first.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
forces you to think about
Yeah.
how to package your idea
Okay.
most effectively
Yeah.
on a platform like YouTube.
Yeah. Because I think that's the difference
Yeah.
between just like
Exactly.
making a piece of content and then putting it up on YouTube.
It's a visual platform.
Is you have to understand like how to make it visually appealing.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I, or any of our listeners for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
come up with these winning ideas to test out with our thumbnails and titles?
Right.
Where do we even begin?
So Nick actually provides a really good framework for this.
Okay.
And it's called the audience bridge.
The audience bridge.
Yeah. And the audience bridge essentially reframes
Yeah.
your video idea from the product or feature. Okay.
To the benefit that your audience is going to receive.
Got it.
So for example,
Right.
let's say you have a tech channel.
Right.
And you're reviewing like the new Super Mouse 3000.
Right. Or the Nimmin Mouse 2000 or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of making the title the Super Mouse 3000 review,
Right.
he would say something like,
This mouse saved my wrist.
this mouse doubled my productivity, or,
Yeah.
I edited videos way faster with this mouse.
Yeah.
So
So it's not just like about the product.
exactly.
But like how it affects you.
It's about the benefit to the audience.
Okay.
So what problems are your viewers facing?
Yeah.
What solutions are they looking for?
Yeah.
And then you frame your video idea as the answer to those needs.
Got it. So instead of thinking, what video do I want to make?
Exactly.
It's like, what problem can I solve?
Yeah, what problem can I solve for my audience?
For my viewers. Yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So once you've got this winning idea, you've tested it out with your thumbnail and title. It's time to bring it to life with a great thumbnail.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is like one of the biggest things
so important.
that people struggle with.
Especially on a visual platform like YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we make it stand out?
So Nick breaks it down into just a few key principles.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so principle number 1 is clarity.
Okay.
Your thumbnail needs to have one clear focal point.
Okay.
Whether that's you,
Okay.
a powerful image,
Right.
some text.
Okay.
It should instantly communicate what your video is about.
No clutter, no distractions.
No clutter, no distractions.
Just bam.
Yeah.
This is it.
Exactly.
Title.
Strategic color.
Okay.
So Nick talks about using contrasting colors to draw the eye to that focal point.
Right.
He gave a really good example of a quilting channel.
Okay.
You know, if the video is about like a blue quilt, having like a random red object in the thumbnail is going to be super distracting.
Yeah, it's going to pull focus away from like the main subject.
Yes.
But if that red object was like a pair of scissors or a spool of thread,
yeah, then it reinforces.
then it makes sense.
Yeah, it tells quilters,
right?
Hey, this video is for you.
It's subtle, but it's effective.
Exactly.
So you're kind of like subliminally speaking
exactly
to the people that you want to be watching your videos.
Yes.
Got it.
And then, of course, there's the big debate.
Okay.
To text or not to text.
Oh, yeah.
That is the question.
I've always wondered about that.
Yeah.
Is it better to have text or to not have text?
So what Nick recommends is test it.
Okay.
You know?
So try it both ways.
Try it both ways and see what works for your audience.
See what performs better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you do use text, make sure it's big, bold, and easy to read.
Yeah. You know, people squint.
Nobody squint.
At your thumbnail.
At tiny fonts.
Try to figure out what it says.
Yeah, exactly.
So what questions should we be asking ourselves when we're creating a thumbnail?
All right, so what is going to grab attention in those first couple of seconds?
Got it.
Does this thumbnail scream, this is for you, to my target viewer?
So we're not trying to please everybody.
Exactly.
Okay.
Is there anything distracting?
Okay.
Clutter is the enemy of clarity.
Right.
And then how does this thumbnail make the viewer want to read the title?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a visual handoff.
So it's like you're handing it off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From the image to the text.
Okay.
And then is there anything in this thumbnail that isn't absolutely necessary?
Oh.
Cut the fluff.
So like those generic subscribe buttons.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are useless.
Don't waste space with that.
Okay. So it's about being intentional.
Yes.
With every element of the thumbnail.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how specific that is.
Yeah, he breaks it down really well.
Yeah.
But of course, the thumbnail is only half the battle.
Yeah,
you need a title.
Right, a title that's going to make people want to click.
Exactly.
So what are Nick's secrets for a good title?
So he basically suggests two main approaches.
Okay.
Informative or curiosity-driven.
Okay, so informative meaning?
Clearly states what the video is about.
Got it.
And then curiosity-driven is piquing someone's interest and making them want to click.
Okay, so can you give me some examples?
Yeah, so think of like a travel channel.
Okay.
A title like, My Trip to Thailand is pretty bland.
Yeah, it doesn't really make me want to click on it.
Yeah, exactly. But then imagine a title like, Thailand surprised us in ways we never imagined.
Oh, I want to know what happened.
Right.
What surprised you?
It implies intrigue.
Yeah.
It implies like multiple events.
Yeah.
Like it makes you think, oh, what were all the things that happened?
Yeah. That's interesting. So what's the underlying principle?
Yeah. So Nick talks about the could watch versus the should watch.
Okay.
My Trip to Thailand.
Right.
Is it could watch?
Yeah.
You could watch that.
Yeah.
And I could.
But you don't have to.
Yeah, there's no urgency.
Yeah.
Thailand surprised us in ways we never imagined. Is a should watch.
It is a should watch.
I should watch this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to miss out on this information.
Interesting.
So it's about creating that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
That feeling of, I'm going to miss out if I don't click this video.
So that fear of missing out.
Like that.
FOMO.
Okay.
And that all comes back to, you know, the audience bridge. Well, you're framing the content in a way that speaks directly to your viewers' desires and their motivations.
So how do we know if our titles are hitting the mark? That's a good question.
What question should we be asking?
All right, so first and foremost.
Does the title work with the thumbnail?
Okay, so they have to.
They got to be a power couple.
They got to go together.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Is it clear?
Okay.
You know, is it
easy to read at a glance?
Easy to read, targeting the interests of your ideal viewer.
So we're not trying to be everything to everybody.
No.
Got it.
Is it easy to read at a glance? You want to grab attention?
Yeah, keep it short.
You don't want to make people decipher a complex sentence.
What about length?
Yeah.
Is there like a rule for that?
Yeah. Nick actually says,
Okay.
try to keep it under 60 characters for the optimal display.
Okay.
So ideally 52, 53.
Yeah.
But under 60 is generally good.
Got it.
And then finally, what's the compelling element?
Okay.
What makes this title irresistible?
So it's like that unique angle.
Yeah.
That really pulls people in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I love that.
Yeah, it's all about.
So I've talked about thumbnails. We've talked about titles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then the next thing is...
how
do we keep people...
how do we keep them hooked?
Hooked once they click on the video.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other challenge in itself.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good place to pick up for part 2 of this deep dive.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into that.
Stay tuned.
So we talked about thumbnails and titles.
Right.
But what about keeping people engaged?
Right, once they click on the video.
Once they've clicked.
Which is a whole other challenge in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So what Nick talks about is starting strong.
Okay.
And, I mean, really strong.
Okay.
Forget about your fancy logo intros and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Get right into the good stuff.
Yeah, you got to hook people immediately.
So what is a good hook?
Well, it depends on your content.
Okay.
So if it's an educational video,
right,
you want to state the takeaway up front.
Okay, so you're basically telling them what they're going to learn.
Yeah, give them that instant gratification.
Yeah. Here's what you're going to learn by sticking around for this video.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, what about if it's more entertainment focused?
Yeah, so he uses the example of like a fishing channel.
Okay.
Instead of a long intro,
right,
show a couple seconds of beautiful drone footage of a lake.
Oh, I like that.
You know, with some nice music.
Set the mood.
Yeah, set the scene.
Okay.
Create an immersive experience.
So it's really about setting the stage.
Setting the stage.
But it has to align with the thumbnail and the title.
100%.
Okay.
If you're promising a dramatic fishing catch,
right,
you better show at least a glimpse of that in the first few seconds.
Okay, so you got to deliver on your promises.
You got to deliver.
Okay.
You build trust with your audience that way.
Makes sense.
So you got your hook.
Right, we hooked them.
How do you keep them engaged throughout the video?
Right, that's the hard part.
Yeah, so Nick is a big believer in structure.
Okay.
Just like a good story.
Okay.
Your video needs a beginning, a middle, and an end.
So you're taking them on a journey.
You're taking them on a journey.
With your content.
Exactly.
Okay.
And within that structure, he recommends incorporating reminders.
Reminders.
Of the video's purpose.
Okay, so you're kind of like bringing them back to...
You're bringing them back.
The main point.
Yeah, because it's easy for people to get distracted.
Right, especially nowadays.
Especially nowadays, so gently nudging them back to the main point.
So, like, how would you do that without being too repetitive?
Yeah, so he gives an example of, like, prompting viewers to leave comments related to the topic.
Okay.
So it's subtle, but it re-engages them and encourages active participation.
I like that because it turns passive viewing into something more interactive.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we've got the hook.
We got the hook.
We've got the structure.
Structure.
What about editing?
Oh, yeah, editing's a big one.
Yeah.
How can we leverage that to keep people engaged?
So Nick really emphasizes experimentation here. Different editing styles are going to work for different audiences.
Right.
A younger audience might enjoy fast-paced cuts,
right?
You know, flashy transitions.
Yeah.
An older audience might want something
a little slower.
Slower, yeah, more deliberate, less jarring.
So it's really about knowing your audience and what they respond to.
Knowing your audience and tailoring it to their preferences.
Makes sense.
So think about like the tone.
Okay.
The mood that you're trying to create.
Okay.
Is it energetic and playful?
Right.
Or is it calm and informative?
Yeah.
You know?
Your editing should match.
Your editing should match that.
Okay, so it's about creating a cohesive viewing experience.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the hook, the structure, the editing. But what about the actual content itself?
Right.
How do we make that information engaging?
So Nick is a huge advocate for storytelling.
Okay.
Even in educational or informational content, he believes that weaving in narratives can really make a difference.
Okay.
One technique that he recommends is the SO framework.
Oh, the SO framework.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
I've heard of it. I don't know if I could explain it, though.
Okay, so basically, but introduces a conflict or obstacle.
Okay.
And so provides the resolution for the next step.
So it's like
It's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, like a mini cliffhanger.
A mini cliffhanger.
Within the content.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so let's say you're making a video about building a website.
Okay.
You could say, I was so excited to launch my new website, but then I realized I had no idea how to set up the domain name.
Oh, no.
So I had to do a ton of research, but the instructions were super confusing, so...
Oh, man, so it's just like this chain reaction.
Yeah, it's a chain reaction.
Of mini stories.
Exactly.
That keeps people engaged.
And it feels very authentic and relatable. Like you're sharing a personal experience.
Yeah, because it's not just like, you know.
You're not just lecturing at them.
Right, it's a conversation.
Exactly.
Okay, so framework.
It can be applied to any type of content.
Okay.
Even like a tech review.
Okay.
You could say, I thought this new phone was going to be amazing, but the battery life was terrible, so I had to return it. But then I found an even better phone with incredible features.
Oh, okay.
You see?
It's like a story.
Yeah, it's very conversational.
It's so it's about finding ways to connect with your viewers.
Right.
On a human level.
Right.
Even when you're sharing technical information.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we've talked about the hook.
I got the hook.
A structure.
The editing,
the storytelling framework.
But, all of that is great, but if nobody sees it, it doesn't matter.
You're exactly right.
What else does Nick recommend for finding long-term success on YouTube?
Consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Okay, so like uploading on a schedule. It's more than that.
Okay, what else is there?
So it's consistency in your branding, your messaging, your overall approach.
So like your identity.
Yeah, creating a recognizable identity.
Okay.
And building trust with your audience.
So it's about being reliable.
Yeah.
Predictable.
Delivering on your promises.
Okay.
Showing up consistently.
Got it.
In terms of frequency,
yeah,
he recommends aiming for at least weekly uploads.
Okay.
Or even more if you're serious about growth.
Wow.
He even suggests considering multiple channels.
Multiple channels.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a lot to handle.
Yeah, it can be.
So does he give any advice for managing all that?
Yeah, he actually mentions a tool called Opus Clip,
Okay.
which helps creators repurpose content across different platforms.
So you could take one piece of content
Exactly.
and kind of like reformat it for different places.
Yeah.
So that can help you streamline your workflow and maximize your content's reach.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So consistency is about showing up.
Maintaining a cohesive brand and using the right tools to optimize your process.
Exactly.
But I feel like you could be consistent and get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
What do you do about that?
Continuous learning.
Continuous learning.
Yeah, he stresses the importance of constantly expanding your knowledge and skills.
So even if you've found a formula that works, you can't just like coast on that forever.
You can't coast. You have to keep learning, keep growing.
You got to stay on top of things.
Yeah. He actually uses this analogy of a fisherman, who can look at a lake and know exactly what type of fish are in it.
Right.
And the best bait to use based on their expertise.
Wow. I like that analogy.
Yeah. So it's about developing that deep understanding of your craft.
Yeah.
And being able to adapt to changing conditions.
So what you're saying is the more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to succeed on YouTube.
Exactly.
Makes sense. All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch now.
We've talked a lot about the strategy and the tips.
All the theory.
Yeah, the theory. But as we all know, knowledge without action is kind of useless.
You got to put it into practice.
So how do we actually do that?
Well, Nick says the first step is research. But not just any research.
Okay.
It's strategic research.
Okay, so instead of just watching YouTube videos.
Right. You're no longer just passively watching.
Okay.
You're actively analyzing.
So we're turning our YouTube time into market research.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are we looking for?
Focus on the successful channels in your niche.
Okay.
Pay attention to everything.
Everything. Like
their thumbnails, their titles.
Right.
Video structure, editing style.
Got it.
Community engagement.
So we're being like little YouTube detectives.
You're a detective.
Looking for clues.
Looking for clues, exactly.
But with so many elements to look at, it can feel overwhelming. Where do we even begin?
Look for common threads.
Yeah?
In the types of videos that are performing well.
Okay. So are they educational?
Yeah. Are they entertaining?
What kind of hooks are they using?
What kind of hooks are they using?
How long are the videos?
Yeah.
How are they structuring the content? Are they doing that but framework thing?
Exactly.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be just like the big players, right?
No, there's actually a lot to learn
from
smaller channels that are growing really quickly.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done our research. We've analyzed the competition.
Yes.
We've gathered intel from the audience. What's next?
All right, time to put on your creative hat.
Okay, I like it.
And start brainstorming video ideas.
Okay.
But remember,
Yeah.
you start with the thumbnail and the title.
Always start with the thumbnail and title.
Before you even think about filming.
Right. Validate the idea first.
Exactly.
But sometimes those ideas just don't flow.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So what do we do?
Go back to your audience.
Go.
What problems are they facing?
Okay.
What are their goals?
Right. Their aspirations.
Their aspirations. What solutions are they looking for?
And then we position ourselves as the answer.
You're the answer.
To their needs.
You're building that audience bridge.
Okay.
Connecting your content
Right.
to their needs and desires.
So like, for example, let's say you have a fitness channel.
Okay.
Instead of a generic title like 5-minute ab workout, we could say something like, get a six-pack in 30 days.
Ooh, I like that.
No gym required.
Even better.
And then for the thumbnail,
yes,
someone with a six-pack working out at home.
Exactly.
So you're showing what they can get.
Yeah, and that it's achievable.
By watching the video.
Yes.
I like that.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. But, you know, sometimes, even with all this, you know, the research and the brainstorming, we still hit a wall.
It happens.
What do we do when that happens?
Step outside of your YouTube bubble.
Okay.
Explore other forms of content.
So, like?
Watch documentaries, movies, read books.
Go to a museum.
Yeah, go to a museum. Attend live events.
Okay, so it's really about like getting inspiration from different places.
Exactly. Expose yourself to new ideas.
Okay.
Different storytelling styles.
Got it.
So it's like cross-training.
Yeah.
For your creative muscles.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I've got our winning idea, our killer thumbnail.
Yes.
Our attention-grabbing title.
We're ready to go.
We're ready to make the video.
Let's do it.
What are Nick's tips?
Okay.
For that.
Plan and structure.
Okay.
Before you even hit record.
Okay.
Outline your video.
So like a roadmap?
It's a roadmap for your content.
Know where you're going.
Know where you're going.
Okay.
Beginning, middle, and end.
And don't forget that hook.
Of course not.
Gotta hook them in the first few seconds.
Those first few seconds are crucial.
Yeah.
What's gonna grab their attention?
Right. What's gonna make them want to stick around?
Make it count.
And then once you've got them, you can use that. So, framework.
Exactly, to keep them engaged.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to experiment with different editing styles.
So new things.
Yeah, see what works best for your audience.
So every video is a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're constantly refining your skills.
Finding your voice.
Yeah.
So beyond the technical aspects, what's that secret sauce?
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Be genuine, be passionate, let your personality shine through.
So it's really about connecting with your viewers on a human level.
Human level.
Sharing your perspective.
Yes.
Building community.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So master the strategies, the techniques, but don't forget about the heart of it all.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've come to the end of our deep dive.
It's been a journey.
What's the one thing that our listeners can do right now?
Pick one video idea.
Just one.
That excites you. That aligns with your passions and your audience's interests.
Don't get bogged down with perfectionism.
Just pick one and commit to it.
All right, so apply everything we've learned. The audience bridge.
Yes.
The thumbnail and title checklist.
The structure.
The storytelling.
The editing.
Most importantly.
Yes.
Infuse it with your voice and enthusiasm.
That's what makes a channel special.
All right, so that one video could be the catalyst.
Could be.
That ignites your YouTube journey.
It could be.
All right, so what are you waiting for?
Get out there and create.
A huge thank you to you.
Oh, thank you.
For guiding us through this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all of our listeners, thank you for joining us on this adventure of knowledge and discovery.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.